Welcome back to the Prosperity and Education Podcast. I'm very excited for this conversation because it's a topic that you may have heard of, but you don't really know what it's about. But then also, a lot of people probably never heard of it. So I'm excited to get into this conversation. Without further ado, welcome our guest, Deon Hornsby.
Good to be here. Finally talking to you in this capacity.
I know. This is going to be very exciting. We talked about it for a little bit. Let's get into it. What is this thing? What is underwriting?
Well, underwriting, from an insurance standpoint, it's basically analyzing risk. For whatever company you may work for, they have their own guidelines and their stipulations for what type of business that you want to write. The underwriter gets the application and they analyze the risk based off of the criteria that the insurance company sets up. Usually the company they have their own criteria, their own characteristics of a risk that they view as desirable or profitable. And we basically make our decisions based off of those criteria. So it's really just, being nosy for the most part. Okay. We get the information from the agent or the client, and we look to verify, see what makes sense, and if it checks all the boxes, then that's a big piece of business that we're going to try to write and we're going to put out terms on.
Okay. And you said, we talked a little bit before this, cars, homes.
We call them valuable articles. So Your jewelry, any type of fine arts, just sculptures, things like that. We call them hobbies, right? Things that clients have a passion for.
Expensive hobbies.
Usually expensive hobbies, yes. And then what we call excess liability. So if a client is sued for any type of reason, it's the coverage that protects them in case they are sued. We'll defend them, and in some instances, we'll pay out any type of judgment that's needed to protect our client.
Okay. And I imagine that can get very, very expensive depending on what the
offense is. Okay. Right? It's like I've seen liability losses, as low in the tens of thousands and as high as in tens of millions. Okay. So depending on the situation and depending on the person, right? Because usually if a person is deemed to have more, they have a higher net worth, they have more assets, right? They're going to need a higher limit. So a lot of folks will look at that and, they could see it as a payday if they decide they want to, take adverse action against one of our clients.
100%. And now, I guess it's always been this way, but you could sue for anything.
You can sue for anything. Right. And part of our liability coverage and most liability coverage from different insurance company is that they'll defend you in case of a lawsuit. So, you don't have to come out of pocket to pay for attorney fees. Your policy will kick in and defend you.
Do you all have that? Do you have it?
We do, yes.
Okay. Good. Y'all trying to win. Ain't trying to pay out. Okay. So actually, let's take a step back. We got a little deeper. I was about to go deeper, but let's rewind.
Yeah.
Where did this come about? Because I may be mistaken, but did you hear about this in school? How did you even find out about this?
All I knew, I went to school at Illinois Wesleyan University. When I say the name, the folks that know insurance knows that it's located in Bloomington, Illinois. Bloomington, Illinois is the home of State Farm Insurance. That's where their corporate headquarters are. I had no interest in working for State Farm. I thought it was a cop-out. I thought it was just everybody goes there. I thought I was going to do something different, so I had no interest. Within the last, I would say, 6 weeks of my college career, we had an award ceremony, and one of the VPs from State Farm came, and we had a conversation, and he asked me whether or not I had applied for State Farm. I hadn't. He asked me why, and I told him I'll do so tomorrow, sir. Okay. So a lot of folks that get into insurance say I stumbled into it. Insurance kind of stumbled into me. So when I applied, they made the offer and I accepted, and it was probably the best decision I could have made. I just loved the training that we went through, learning about insurance, right? Because you hear about it, it's this abstract concept as at that time, a 22-year-old. So I didn't really understand the depths of insurance. But once I really got the understanding and once I started to learn the underwriting process, I'm not a control freak, but it's a lot of power in underwriting, right?
Okay.
There's
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of decisions on a day-to-day basis that
Because
you get to make.
you all value it, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I really enjoyed the training. Like the training class I was with was so much fun, but it's it was just a great time. And I didn't see myself leaving the industry once I got into it. It's like I may have left State Farm, but I knew that there were other things that I could. Well, I was hoping that there was other things I could do within the insurance realm, and it's just a matter of just finding your way. Because what we did at the time, I was just auto underwriter. Like they called auto and fire. Fire lines is like property. That's your homes, that's businesses and things like that. And we're a small cog in this huge insurance industry. Like insurance is basically the backbone of the world's economy. Like nothing
Yeah.
gets built without having, insurance to, underwritten behind it. So once I started to learn, how deep the industry is, you want to see how far you can take it.
Yeah, yeah. And I have a very odd relationship with insurance because obviously I love it when I need it.
Absolutely.
But I get aggravated because you're paying for something that you hope you never need.
Absolutely.
But then if you do need it, and let's say you need it frequently, you get punished. I view it as being punished.
Right.
Because now your premium is going up that you have to pay every month.
Right.
Can you explain a little bit about how does that work?
Well, it's basically like the concept of insurance goes by the theory of the law of large numbers. So basically, the many different insureds pay into this one pot, which is the insurance company. The hope is that folks don't use it frequently, but you want to have a strong enough premium base that when a claim happens, that a client is taken care of. So basically, I guess for the best way to say it is that, the more you use it, the more you're going to pay for it. So if you have multiple, like we could break it down to basically auto losses, right? If you're constantly causing car accidents, you're not a risk that that a company necessarily want, right? And if you are, because, in most states, insurance is mandatory for autos, you're going to pay a very high premium because you're a high hazard at this point. So basically, it what insurance does, it try to curb behavior, right? It's not necessarily a maintenance policy. It's something to be used in case of an emergency, right? So if you're careless and you're constantly for the most part, you're backing into a pole when you're parking, right? If you're doing that time and time again, there needs to be a behavior change, right?
Yes.
So hopefully, from an insurance company standpoint, hopefully a higher premium will make you change your behavior.
Yeah.
Exactly. But over time, it'll come back, right? So if you say, for example, I have 3 accidents in 3 years, my rate's going to get jacked up, right?
Sure.
But if I go the next 5 to 10 years without it, the premium will come down for the most part because my hazard is lessening.
lower.
I've changed my behavior
Yep.
at that point.
Yep. And so what you're talking about now is essentially risk assessment. What are the different criteria? Because I know you said you all underwrite for a lot, and insurance in general, they insure a lot.
Yep.
So you look at a bunch of different things. What are some of the things? We talked a little bit about auto, but when it comes to items and different things like that, what are the different criteria that you all look at or look for?
Well, we basically start off. For my company, Private Client Select, we look at it from 2 avenues. We want to know who the client is, and we want to know what they have, right? So we start off by looking at the client, like understanding what type of person that they are, what job do they have, are they any type of a risk from a liability standpoint? Have they been sued in the past? Have they been actively suing people, right? And just making sure that they're upstanding citizens, right? You pass that test. Now you look at the assets that they have. So if you look at, let's look at a home, for example. We look at the age of the home. We look at what it's made of. One of the things that people don't really pay attention to is the distance to a fire hydrant from the home and their distance to the fire department. So if something happens, is there water nearby to, say if there's a fire, is there water nearby, and is there a fire department that can get to your home quickly?
That's pretty deep.
So that they can contain the fire. The whole thing is to minimize damage, right?
Yeah.
So those are the main things that we look at. We look at roof age, and there are different criteria based on where you are. You know, if you look at look at a home that's here, right, in Joliet, Illinois, you're going to look at it way differently than you're going to look at a home in Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
Because they're totally different. They're different perils. They're different things that can cause loss. Hurricanes don't come in Illinois. Tornadoes come, but hurricanes don't come. So a home in Miami has to be built a certain way to make sure that they can withstand, the strongest of hurricanes that can come through. So it varies from region to region and geography to geography, but and each carrier has their own criteria, but I think that's where the experience comes in, right? The longer that you've been doing this, like I've been in insurance for 28 years now. A lot of these things are just, it's common knowledge at this point. It's I can do it without, I can do it unconsciously. Basically, it's like I could see a risk. I could look at different criteria and understand, within a couple minutes whether or not I want to accept the risk.
Yeah, yeah. And so 28 years, it's a long time. I know the evolution of this whole thing of the world, but then particularly when we look at insurance, the landscape has changed drastically.
Absolutely.
And so when we're talking about insurance, when we're talking about making a living off of it, how does that work? Because I know a couple of people that's in insurance. Sometimes you have like a base salary. A lot of times I've seen that it's 100% commission.
Yep.
So how do you juggle or how you make the decision that I want to get straight into this?
That's a good question. A lot of it is based on what you're interested in, because there are two different avenues that you can go. Like when you talk about straight commission, that's when you deal with the agents, you deal with the salespeople, right? That's where people skills come into it. Like that's when you really know if you're really good at talking to people and you don't mind hustling, right? To make the money to get those commissions. I think that's what tells you whether you want to go, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's as much as I'm a people person, like to have my salary dependent on straight commission. Like, there are times where I'm not as confident in myself about that.
Yeah.
But from an underwriting standpoint, like that's usually in a lot of instances it's base salary and there's usually some type of a bonus component as far as your compensation goes. Like I just love the decision-making aspect.
Okay.
Just being able to see, these are the decisions that I make. And then you can, we have a myriad of reports that we run where you could see, okay, I wrote this last year, a year ago. How is it performing? Right? Have they had losses? Is your book of business growing?
Yeah.
Things like that. And that's what I like. And there's still, even from an underwriting, the underwriting chair, there's still a sales component, right? Because I'm working on, I'll get a particular account. I'm working on that account. It reaches its conclusion, like either you write it or you don't write it, but you still got to ask for the next one, right? So
how do you do that? So how do you ask for the next one? Because so break it down for me, because it's the insurance and then a part of the insurance is underwriting. So there's a separate team for the underwriting. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the insurance agents are the one that are actually going out there making a sale.
Exactly.
Getting the sale and bringing the client to the underwriters.
Correct.
Which are then assessing, okay, do we want this or not?
Yep.
Okay. So how are you all able to make the sale? Because I feel like it's all on the agents.
Well, in a lot of instances, like if you think of, if you look at like the State Farms, the Allstates, they have their own agents, right?
Yeah.
So a client that they get, they're trying to get them on board with State Farm or Allstate, whatever, that agency is. In my realm, we work with independent agents. So basically, they have their own office. They have their salespeople, their producers is what we call them, and they have options. They have 5, 6, 7 different companies that they can work with. So they'll get a risk, they'll get a client, get all of their information, and make the submission. It goes to 7 different places, right? So we're one of the 7. We put out the best terms that we can do. We try to price it as best we can to try to win the account. So we send it back. And it takes some time, to turn over an account. And then like a week, 2 weeks or so later, we figure out what happens. Either we write it, which is a great thing, but we didn't write it, right? So that's when the sales comes in, right? What did we do wrong? Where were we high? How can I win the next one? And what is the next one that you're working on? So it's always this constant, we call it the pipeline, right? We want to make sure that we have a pipeline of clients so that, if we get one, if we get one submission and we lose it, we have another one that we can work on to try to win on that case.
Okay. I get it a little bit better now. When it comes to insurance, one thing I have, especially with trying to work in insurance, I know you say is based off your interest and what you're trying to do in your life.
Right.
But one thing that really got me was the sales piece. And I think it's something that's just internal for me that I just struggle with. But the whole sales aspect, like somebody trying to sell me, it can be a great sale. It can be a great pitch, but to me, it's just something in me that it just gives me what they say, the ick. Like I just don't like when people try to sell to me.
Yep.
So how do you break past that barrier? And what was that journey like for you in the beginning?
Well, to be perfectly honest, that's why I'm not an agent now. It's like I have so many friends that I went to school with, and because of my connection, the local connection to State Farm, they're State Farm agents now, and they're thriving, like absolutely thriving. But that was never me. Right. Okay. It's like, I'm same with you. It's like, it's kind of an ick as far as, really just trying to sell somebody. Right. Even though I understand the importance of insurance, like the straight sales aspect, I wasn't a fan of. There was a stretch in my career. I spent a year and a half. Out of the 28 years, a year and a half, I was in like, field sales and distribution for one of my companies. So I'm going to the agents and trying to get them to drum up business and how can we get more business and figure out what we aren't doing, that keeps them from writing business with us. Right. So I'm like the go-between between the company and the agent. But I hated the fact that I didn't actually underwrite it. It's like, I'm finding the business, but they're calling somebody else to actually analyze the account. And I couldn't stand it. I absolutely hated it. And it's like I said, I didn't think I was a control person, but in that aspect, it's like, I want to control it. Right. It's like, because I knew what I was doing from an underwriting standpoint, and I wasn't as confident from a sales standpoint. So, it takes a special person. Like, it's a gift to be able to just, to be able to do sales, to make it not feel like it's sales. You know what I mean? And that's a gift that I don't have.
It's a good thing that you're aware of that.
Absolutely.
Because I guess I take it back to, because a great pitch can get me to buy into something. Correct. But it's just a lot of good pitchers out there. And it just gives me the ick, and it could be something that I need. But because I feel like I'm being sold on it, I don't want it. Right.
We have within our company, we have an underwriting side and we have a sales side. So my sales, our distribution team, they're our partners. Right. When we're from an underwriting standpoint, we're just working on accounts. A lot of times we don't have the opportunity to follow up on those accounts. That's when our sales team gets involved. And they get a lot of that intel. It's like, hey, I heard from this broker, our premium was too high on these homes in Chicago, right? And then we figure out ways to understand what that risk was and why it is so high. And then we have we have actuaries who are actually setting the rate. We have product teams who are developing the products that we try to sell. So it's so many different avenues that sales and underwriting are kind of like the front lines, but there's a whole team behind us that's making sure that, what we're selling and how we're pricing it makes sense.
And so with sales, as we all know, is to make a profit.
Correct.
And I've always been told that you make the profit at the sale, not after. So wherever you jump in at, that's where you make the profit at. However low or high you're able to sell something, that's where you make the profit. Which, in saying that, I know there's a lot of money in this field. Can you talk a little bit about who are some of the people that you're underwriting for? What does that clientele look like?
Well, the space that I'm in, we call our demographic high net worth. So basically, you're talking about clients who have assets in excess of $5 million, So
Okay.
whether it be homes, whether it be art collections, jewelry collections, different automobiles, like we have a team that focuses specifically on yachts. Not
Yachts.
yachts. Yes,
Just say
yes,
specifically focus on
for
yachts.
high value boats. So, so we deal like for confidentiality. I can't name names, obviously,
Yeah.
but if think of your favorite company. Companies that you do, people that you buy clothes from. They're the CEOs of the top companies in the world. We're in play for those. For those clients, we're in play. It's like you think of your top athletes, your top entertainers, we're in play for a lot of those folks. So it's a lot of familiar names that you would know. In all likelihood, I've seen them come across my desk, or I know, or somebody on my team or within our division, we've seen them come across our desk on a daily basis.
Really?
On a daily basis.
Okay. So when you said 5 million, that was just like the entry.
That's usually the entry for us.
That's not
That's
the
the
top.
end. That's not the top. That's not the top. Like there are clients that have, I'm not exaggerating, they have billions of dollars of assets, whether it be homes or art collections, billions of dollars of assets.
Okay.
Like it never, a friend of mine when I first got started, when I got to the high net worth space, they're like, you'll get jaded to it after, you'll see so many $5 million homes that it doesn't faze you. Like it phases me all the time. Like this is
Yeah.
I don't take for granted what I see.
Yeah.
It's just amazing that I get to see this every day. And I'm actually, I view what I'm doing as a service. Like I'm helping these successful people protect their assets, right? Me and my team, we're creating programs that helps them protect their investment at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that trickles down all the way to the average person, right? It's like, if your home burns down, you kind of need something that's going to help you get back on your feet.
For sure.
Because in all likelihood, most folks don't have, X amount of dollars to rebuild their home if it's catastrophically damaged, right? So, in a way, insurance is a service, and it's like I'm a servant in a way, and how we try to protect our clients' assets.
For sure. And so you're talking about what I kind of hear is a perspective change when your friend was telling you about you kind of get jaded to the service that you're
Yep.
providing. Do you feel that this job has altered your perspective on money and material items?
Yes and no. Because I also know what our clients do, right? So it's like when you get, CEO of Fortune 10, top 10 company, it's like you understand how much money they make and the things that they're able to acquire because of their salaries. I don't ever look at myself as having that much, but I look at their need to protect that. And I think if anything, that's what changed my perspective. Is just how do I move in my personal life to make sure I'm doing the things that best protect me and my family at the end of the day. My wife and I bought our house 11 years ago. We went looking, like it was in the dead of winter. It's like, back when it snowed, it's like it was, heavy snow around the house that we ended up buying. And I'm walking around and my wife is looking. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm looking for the fire hydrant because it's just that, it's that important. If the fire department is down the street, but there's no water,
That's good.
buy a
There's
house.
a pro tip. Make sure y'all pay attention. Pro
Yes,
tip. Get something by a fire hydrant.
Absolutely. So it's like I look at things from a different perspective. The different ways that we protect our homes, like with an alarm system, understanding where sensors need to be, understanding where the cameras need to be, just to make sure that we're as protected as we can be. Like you don't walk around in fear. Our neighborhood's a great neighborhood, but you never know what's going to happen. So, and I think that's goes along with insurance. You never know what's going to happen. So you rather be prepared than have to get prepared, in the time of a loss. So
For sure.
I think it's just more how I move personally. I think that's the biggest shift from, watching our clients and, putting together programs for our clients.
Yeah, so not necessarily jaded, but more attentive.
More attentive,
More
exactly.
attentive and intentional with how you move.
You ask more questions, right?
Yeah.
It's like I describe to people that I tell folks that I pay my underwriters to be nosy, right? Find out what you can about your clients, everything that you can, whatever rock, overturn that, try to find out whatever you can to make sure that, one, they're a good person. We want to write good humans for the most part, but also that their homes are taken care of, right? The larger the home, the more things that you're going to need.
Yeah.
Right. In certain areas, it's like in Illinois, it gets cold. Right. So for a 5,000 square foot house, do you have like water shutoff devices? Right. So if the pipes freeze and they burst, do you have that device that's going to turn the water off? Right. Instead of just flooding the basement level of your house, causing all kinds of damage.
Yeah. And you say all this stuff, you're just raffling off all these things like it's nothing.
It's day to day.
Yeah,
It's when you do it all the time, it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
Like it's as far as like the things that I think of when I'm underwriting an account, it's like we have a lot of young folks that are coming on. So it's like I almost have to dial it down a little bit because I'm skipping the steps. Right. It's like, I want them to be able to look for everything. I want them to be able to see everything. When you do it for so long, you kind of just know your pattern. Like I look for this, I look for this, I look for this, and it becomes second nature. And I have to dial it back sometimes when I'm describing it to people.
One step that you don't keep missing, I keep hearing you say, I think it's 2 or 3 times you already said, is that you want to make sure that the person that you're underwriting is good people. Why does that even matter? If I'm insuring an object or something like that, why does it matter if they're a good person?
Well, I would say, if you look at if you find out, Google can be your friend, right? So one of the things that we do is that we Google search everybody, right? So if we have, insert client's name and you do a Google search on them and, they have $10 million house, they have 10 cars, they're asking for $50 million in excess liability coverage, they have all kinds of jewelry and things like that, but they've been sued for fraud in the past, or they've been arrested for some type of a wrongdoing, or they've been accused of some type of a heinous crime. I don't want to attach my name to that. I don't want our company exposed to that. So we really want to pay attention to the client, like making sure we have good people most off, because usually those are people that usually don't turn in claims. They're not, there's not negative things about them in the press or in the news. And usually those are the folks that are going to take care of their assets for the most part. And when it comes to excess liability limits, like we provide in some cases up to $100 million of coverage. So if you're a person that's operating kind of shady, I'm not putting that many, I'm not putting $100 million on it to possibly protect you. And more importantly, as an underwriter, I'm not putting my name on that. Because at the end of the day, if something goes sideways, there are a few levels up, they're going to call you. It's like, what were you thinking on this? Tell me the story. And if the story doesn't make sense, then that's something bad that can come back on you, right?
100%.
So in a way, it's like you got to find that balance, right? Of, we want to be aggressive and write business, but we also want to make sure that the business that we write is, is underwritten as properly as possible. That we have this rule, document everything. Right. There's no such thing as over documenting. Right. Because when that claim happens, all your notes, all your decision making is going to be scrutinized. So are you prepared to answer in case that call happens?
Yep. And so you've been in this for 28 years. Can you give us a rundown? Because you spoke a little bit about the hierarchy.
Yes.
Obviously, when you start at the ground level, tier 1.
Yep.
Where have we gotten to now? Where are we at?
I'll give you my kind of my career arc. I started out at State Farm right out of college. I was an underwriting trainee, auto underwriting trainee. I was there for 2.5 years. I was eventually promoted to an underwriter and an underwriting team lead. I left State Farm about almost 3 years after I started. Went to a company called Chubb Insurance. That's what got me introduced to the high net worth space. And I was an underwriter for 3+ years, and then I moved to New York. My role was marketing specialist. That's the sale and distribution role. So I was there for a year and a half. Then I moved back home. Started with a company called AIG, pretty well known, large multinational insurance company, and I came in as a senior underwriter, and I kind of progressed. Like I was there for a year. The next year I was an underwriting specialist. A year and a half after that, I became a regional underwriting manager. So where now I'm a people manager. So at the time when I first became a manager, I had 3 underwriters and 3 underwriting technicians. They're basically our renewal underwriters. Like the underwriters, you hear the underwriting title, those are new business underwriters. Underwriting technicians basically work on renewals. So I managed, 3 underwriters and 3 underwriting techs. I was a regional underwriting manager for a long time. We did a couple shifts as far as how we titled people and how in regions and things like that. But eventually, almost 3 years ago, I was promoted to an underwriting director. So now the regional underwriting managers, the role that I have 3 that report to me now. They have their own teams that they navigate. So within my zone, I have 23 states. That is my geographical footprint. I have I want to say we have 30 staff that's under me. And basically now it's for me, it's like I'm not with the day-to-day underwriting. As you progress up, you have different authority levels, right? So you can, the higher up you are, the bigger the risk and exposure that you review. So if something is out of my manager's authority, then it comes to me. So usually it's either very big stuff or problems that ends up on my desk on a day-to-day basis. But then there's a level above me that's the head of field underwriting, and she handles the entire underwriting operation. We have 4 zones. We have 4 underwriting directors. We have 11 regional underwriting managers. So she's basically on top of maybe 110 person organization. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm fortunate. I have, my boss is amazing. But to navigate all the things that she navigates to make sure that as a company, we're operating at peak efficiency is just amazing. So everybody just handles their role. Like it's basically, this is my role. My zone is called the central zone, and it's basically my business. Like I got to make sure that it's growing. I got to make sure that our underwriters are following proper protocol. I got to make sure that we're making the right decisions. I audit the book, every quarter, just to make sure that we're following proper procedures and underwriting standards. But it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Like
it's a lot, but it's super fun. It's like I really enjoy it. Like some days are longer than others. Like just because, at the end of the day, we're still dealing with the end client, right? So if they have an issue with their coverage or with their bill or things like that, we got to navigate that, right? And usually when there's a problem with the client, then everybody's going to hear about it. So we want to make sure that we're minimizing that as best as possible. But I tell people all the time, people will kill to have my bad days. So that puts it all in perspective. It's like, when things get stressful, one of my really good friends always says, like, we're not saving babies. And I'm like, we're not at the end of the day. So that kind of grounds me into, like, what I'm doing is important, but in the grand scheme of the world, it's not that big of a deal. Just take a breath, relax a little bit, and get back to it and solve the problem.
Yeah. And that's important, to keep everything in perspective. Still people's livelihoods.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, not to put it in that way that people with money don't need all the help, but they're good.
You'd be surprised. They need more help,
really?
Right? Because a lot of these folks, once they get to a certain status and a certain financial bracket, they run their lives like a business. And they're not necessarily, they have people that are dealing with their insurance needs, right? So it's still, it's, to me, if I'm that person, right, it's like I'm not necessarily thinking about that, but I'm paying somebody to make sure that they're thinking about that, right? So we still want to make sure that we're doing the best for the end client at the end of the day. There may be a couple people that we have to go through, before it gets to that end client, but we still have to do right by them, and because at the end of the day, they're trusting us. They're coming to us because we're the experts. At the end of the day, we're the ones that should know all the things that they need and what are the gaps. Right.
Yeah.
What things are they missing in their program to make sure that they're holistically protected at the end of the day.
Which makes sense because, like you said, a lot of these people are high profile. So they're moving constantly. Yep. They have a set schedule that they need to attend to. Have a lot of stuff they have to prioritize to keep their life moving forward.
Right.
With that being said, do you ever come in contact with them? Like, what is the contact cadence?
Rarely. Very rarely. Usually that contact, most time the only contact that the insurance company has with the end client is usually on a claim. In a lot of instances, we have folks that we call risk management specialists. They're the ones that verify what's on the application. So if a client says, I have an alarm, or I have a 2-car garage, or my roof is brand new, we have folks that actually go out and inspect the home, right? To make sure we call they basically our verification. So if something is different than what was said on the app, they let us know, and then we make changes accordingly. So those folks will a lot of time have interaction with the end client. I've been with my company now for 20 years. I can honestly say I've probably haven't met with I can count on one hand the amount of clients that I've actually met in person.
Because you're more behind the scenes.
I'm more behind the scenes. There are instances where, a broker that's selling our insurance, the broker that has the client, they may call us in. It's like, hey, we want you involved in this conversation. I have no problem with that, but it's very rare. Usually it's our job to prepare the broker as best we can for whatever question that the client may have. So
you're behind the scenes coaching them up, make sure they're
correct.
prepared. Okay.
Like if they have questions, there's so many times we'll work on a renewal account and they'll have like 10 million different questions. And we're going back and forth answering the questions, things like that. But it's all because they want to make sure that they're prepared in case the client asks a question, because they don't want to look like they don't know something when they have a conversation with them. So it's kind of like coaching in a way. It's preparing them for that conversation that they're going to have with their client. But I would love to do it. I mean, I think I would shine in those instances, but as my job is to make sure that the broker is prepared as possible for those conversations.
For sure, especially the wealth of knowledge and all that you have and experience that you have. I'm pretty sure it would be nothing for you to walk into these environments and just give them everything that they need.
Absolutely. Or at least give them a point person. At the end of the day, because I have no problem in giving my phone number to brokers, to clients, potential insureds, right? It's like, hey, if you have any questions, I'm putting myself out there. Please call me and ask me. At the end of the day, it's like I tell my team, like, I want you to be the go-to person, like for your brokers. If they have a question about anything insurance related, not just our company, what's happening in the business, what are the trends, I want you to be the first phone call. At the end of the day, and that's what I try to train my people to be.
Yeah. And so, sounds like you're over a lot. First of all, this is a big money game. As you said, the entry level to your organization is $5 million, and it goes upwards of a couple billion. So it's a big money game, but then also it's a lot of sales involved. And then, like you said, also is that everybody needs insurance.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's not the insurance that you sell specifically or that you have specifically, but everybody needs insurance.
Correct.
What can someone expect to make in this field?
There's so many different ranges. I just think of my progression. I think when I started my entry level underwriting role, I think I made about $27,000. That's $1997.
That would not be manageable today.
Not at all. Not at all. But but I managed it, right? Okay. It's like it was pretty cool. Like even throwing in student loans and things like that. So, but as you go, like your experience level, obviously the promotions that you have, like it can jump exponentially depending on the company, depending on the role that you have. Like from an underwriting standpoint, it's like, at my level, like I'm, very blessed to be at this level. So it's at this point, it's pretty.
How blessed are you, brother?
We'll throw numbers out there. Like you could be with salary and bonus, bonus opportunity. You could be upward of 200,000.
It's comfortable.
It's a good living. It's a good living. So, but it varies, right? Mm-hmm. It's like I was at a conference. We had a meeting with our company where we had our top producers come and it's like state of the company. We're telling them all the things that are going well. We're getting feedback from them on what works and what we need to improve upon. But I talked to one of the leaders from one of our companies that sell our insurance, and like I said before, the salespeople are called producers. He said he had 7 producers that made over $1 million. So just clear $1 million every year. So that's and like
you said in sales though, right?
It's sales, yes.
Okay.
Like they're literally going out finding the business
But like you said, those are the people that's built a little different.
They're built different. They're built different. It's like I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I think I'm a people person, but I'm not that people person to do that.
That's a different
So there's, it's if you're on the sales side, you can make as much as you want to at that point. From an underwriting side, it's like it's more like earn your stripes. It's just like how do you master your craft first at every level, master the craft to get to the next one, master that, get to the next level. If you want to manage people, that's a totally different arc that you want to go to. Like I have people that, the highest underwriting level in my company that you could get to is underwriting specialist. You're not managing people at that point. There are people that don't want, like, I'm good at underwriting specialist. I don't want to manage people. Because that's another, like you said, salespeople are different. I think people managers are different.
I agree.
Right? To just to want to take on whatever is coming. Like it's almost like, you're part coach, you're part trainer, you're part counselor, all in, and you could be them all in the same day. And that's what I enjoy doing that. Right? It's like I think it's kind of my calling at this point to try to help people be their best selves. So I invite it. It's and we do so much. Most of our staff is remote, and we do so much on Microsoft Teams. And the dot that's on your Teams, to me, I tell people that's my open door. If my dot is green, call me, email me. I'm free. Like basically, I'm here at service for you at this point. And my team uses it. It's like, hey, let me talk about this. Let's talk about this account, or something's going on in my world that has me struggling. If I can be an ear for 10 minutes to help them be their best selves later on, then I'm going to do that. Just try to be of service to my people at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can't truly say that. I feel like your dot is always green with me. Just when we first met, probably a little over a year ago now, just the amount of time that you were able to give to me, somebody, a stranger at that point in time, but you're just truly just trying to help. And it's genuine. You have never once come and told me, oh yeah, for that advice I gave you, I'm gonna need 10, 20. No. It's nothing like that. You just came at and just gave game. So I really do appreciate your authenticity. I'm pretty sure your team truly enjoys that as well.
No, I appreciate that. As it's about what's like at this big age now that I just turned 50 in March. It's about what I'm leaving behind at this point. I don't have any kids at this point.
I should have did the Kevin Hart. Damn.
No, that's not nice. Hey, but it's about what I'm leaving behind. Like I had a conversation with a group of guys, and we were talking about just legacy, and they were talking about their kids and things like that. It's like, I don't have kids, but it's like I have people that I'm in contact with on a daily basis. And if I can try to make them feel better, if I can help them grow in their careers, in their lives, provide them with things that can help them be their best selves, then that's when I'm leaving at the end of the day. Like I know I don't have I have more years behind me than ahead of me in this game. So how can I make this place, how can I make the spaces and places I'm in better? Right? I want to leave it better than I found it at the end of the day. And that's with anything I'm giving time to, whether it's, mentoring with Mac Mentoring, or the things I do with, here at Joliet West, or with my alma mater, Illinois Wesleyan. It's like I try to just help people have better experiences that I have. And I'm fortunate because I've had great experiences everywhere I've gone. Yeah. It's like how can I give them a little bit of game so that they don't have to necessarily skin their knees in some instances.
Yes.
The way that I did.
Yes. And so, brother, I feel like you're in a perfect place for that. Prosperity and education. I want you to take this time to let's start at the very entry level. I know the landscape has changed a little bit, but I want you to walk us through what it looks like to get into this business, and maybe branch off, maybe get into underwriting like you are, or maybe stay in the insurance side. Can you give us the you talk about your alma mater, you talk about going to college.
Yep.
Is that a required step? Give us the step-by-step on how to get into this space.
To get into this space, I think most companies look for a college degree.
In finances or?
A college degree.
Okay.
Because I know people that have gone a very, very long way, and they were poli-sci majors, political science.
Okay.
So basically, and it's what I tell anybody about, your degree. Your degree basically tells folks that you know how to learn and that you're dedicated.
And committed, yep.
Yes, you're committed to it. So once you decide, whatever degree you get, if this is a route that you want to take, just go through the normal application process. Prepare yourself, obviously.
In what way?
Understanding what the company is, right? I think a lot of folks, they make the mistake when they get an interview that they don't do any research on the company. There's so much information Google is your friend, right? There's so much information about whatever company that you're interviewing for that you could at least come with a question or two about how that company works. And, it's just be prepared to have a conversation, right? The best interviews that I have, I think I said more than the candidate has because they come prepared with questions.
Yeah, pause right there. Just for anywhere that you're interviewing, please take questions. Please don't go in there and when they at the end of them asking you 20,000 questions, you say, "Oh no, I have no questions," and walk out. At least come with 2-3 questions.
Absolutely. No, that's real. That's game right there.
For sure.
But it's really more like once you get in, like it's just applying and showing interest, then you get in. Right? Once you get in, be a sponge. Right? Just try to soak up as much as you can. So many companies have so many great training programs. When you think of the name companies, right? You think of the State Farm, you think of Allstate, you think of Chubb, you think of AIG, right? 3 of those are companies that I've worked for. The training was outstanding, right? But the training also let me know that I could do other things. A lot of the skills that you learn from the underwriting side are transferable. Like I'm in high net worth personal lines underwriting, but there's commercial, there's business, there's cyber, which is big now, cyber insurance, right? A lot of the skills that you learn from from underwriting personal lines, you can take that wherever you want to go. Okay. So it's not like you're pigeonholed as a personal lines underwriter. Like granted, your expertise might be there, but again, what do we talk about the college degree? It shows your commitment and your willingness to learn, ability to learn. Yep. You've already proven that. So you can kind of take that wherever you want to take it.
So what I'm hearing is not really any specific...
Not necessarily.
...things that you need to come with. Is there any accolades that you should acquire on the way or certificates that you should acquire?
You don't need to right away, but there are ways. If you're really like, if you're 16, 17 years old, and you're thinking about insurance, there are ways you can get licensed while you're going through your undergrad. Like there are different certifications. Like you could get your actual insurance license. The class isn't super difficult. I recently had to get my license last year. It was weird because it's like, okay, now I got to get back into study mode. So how do I study when I haven't studied in 20 something years? But once you find that rhythm, right, for one thing, and two, I love learning. Right. So it's like, anything new I want to sink my teeth into and really get to understand, different aspects of the business. So it's like I studied for a month and I took the test and passed and I was licensed at this point. So if this underwriting thing goes sideways, right, I'm licensed. I can get into sales if I needed to, and licensing is one of the things that you'll need definitely if you're going to get into sales. But I know some some folks that go through undergrad leave undergrad with their college degree and their license. So while it's not a requirement, it's a nice to have. And again, it's like if you want to find a way to stand out and be different in a competitive marketplace, that's something that's going to put you ahead of the game.
Yeah. And so you just said competitive marketplace. How did you know? You named a couple companies that you work for. How did you know when it was time to make that transition to another company? Because I've seen a lot in tech is that how you make leaps and bounds forward is going to another company. You're able to negotiate higher salary and things like that.
It's the same it's the same in our business. For me, I get bored if I feel like there's nothing left to learn. Right? If I feel like when I left State Farm, it was truly, well, this is home. Like I born in Chicago, raised in Joliet. There's always a pull to get back to Chicago. After being in Bloomington for 6-7 years, I got bored. I felt like there was other things that I could do, but I think I felt like I tapped out, or I topped out at what I could learn. And plus, I wanted to get closer to Chicago. And there were really no underwriting roles for State Farm that were around Chicago. So it's like, okay, I had to branch out. Got the Chubb and everything was working well. I moved to New York and that was a tough transition. Like we talked about how I didn't really love sales too much. And then I moved to a place that I didn't know anybody, and it was just a struggle all the way around. Like home life was struggle, personal was a struggle. And I was fortunate that I had folks that were at AIG when I left, and they were like, I left, and then folks were calling immediately to try to get me to come back. Cause like I wanted to stick it out and see if it worked. But then when I saw it's kind of untenable at that point, it's like, okay, now you have to make the move. And I'm a loyal person. So it's like, if I feel like I'm growing and I'm around a lot of people that have my best interest at heart, then I'll stay there as long as I need to, as long as there's a path still for me to
continue to grow.
To grow. Like I said, I just turned 50, but I don't feel like I'm done at this point. There's so many things that I still want to get accomplished. Right. So it's like, how do I get it? How do I still get those things accomplished? And do I still see a path at this point? Or is it like, from a work standpoint, I'm fine, but there are other organizations and other things within my industry that I can do that can kind of fill in the gaps. And that's what I found over the years. So it's, work is keeping me stimulated. My organizations that I'm a part of, they keep me stimulated. So I feel like I'm in a good place where I'm, one, I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly growing. And plus I'm around a network of people, both with my company and my organizations, that I can kind of help guide and grow, give advice to, just add value to at the end of the day.
Yeah. And you said a couple of things I want to touch on right there. So one, it sounds like you have a decent amount of free time where you're able to get out and do things. So this job, it sounds like it's in person for the most part.
We're kind of hybrid.
Okay.
Right. It's for the most part. I have staff that are in, I think, in 5 or 6 different states.
Okay.
So we're not necessarily, there's no in-office mandate, but I go into the office once a week for the most part.
Okay. And then so it is a mixture of
correct.
Well, it's hybrid. So
it's hybrid,
mixture, virtual and in person. Okay. And you talked about 23 states you cover. So with you personally, in your position, you have to travel to those different states?
For the most part. We travel to our main hubs where we, the states where we write the most business. So I would say Illinois, Missouri, Texas, Minnesota, Ohio, Georgia, South Carolina. So like those are the states I would go to the most. Okay. Because that's where most of our business are.
Yeah. And just for my curiosity, what state is the most expensive? Like what state causes the
Florida, California.
Most claims? Okay.
Florida and California are the most expensive.
Okay.
One, because of their potential for catastrophe.
Natural disasters,
yeah. And 2, cost of rebuilding.
Yeah.
Like those are the 2 states that are usually the highest. So as far as cost to rebuild. So Florida and California are the bugaboos in the industry at this point. Okay. Because people just can't get a handle on what's the right way to go about business in those states. Because just the potential for catastrophic loss is huge in those 2 states.
Yeah. So it's imperative that you get insured in those states because
And
you
that,
can't cover those by
but
yourself.
and it's also the struggle of capacity because there are a lot of companies that pulled out of those states
Really?
because like we just can't make money,
Yeah,
and that we can't charge the rate that we need to charge, so we're gonna pull out altogether,
Yeah.
leaving the clients in a lurch. At this point, it's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be paying a whole lot of money for not as much coverage as I need or want, but it's a mess. It's an absolute. Those two states are, just it's a constant back and forth between the industry and the legislature and departments of insurance. It's just a lot of moving pieces that are going on in both of those states. So those are two states we have a hard time getting our arms around.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say we, I mean the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I know work-life balance is a big thing, and that's kind of what I was trying to get at with that question, because you spoke of how you like to get involved with other different things. So we are involved in Mac mentoring together, and you do a plethora of other things too. You're just at the mentor dinner here. What does the work day typically look like?
Usually, on a day I work from home, I log on between 7:30 and 7:45. I log off anywhere between 4:30 and 5:30, depending on what's going on for the day. Usually, my lunch hour is usually workout because there's got to be time for me.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to have some equipment at home, so I work out at home, and then the week is kind of. I really look at like Sundays are my days where I analyze the calendar. It's like, what do I have going on? It's like now that the school year is happening, it's like, okay, I know every other Thursday I'll be here for Mac mentoring. I do a lot. I'm on my university's board of trustees. So basically I'm on call whenever I'm needed. We meet on campus 3 times. We meet 3 times a year, 2 times on campus, 1 virtual. But I also want to be present and be visible with the students. So usually maybe once a month I go down to Bloomington and try to create time with the students, see what's going on, see what they need, what I can do, 1 as an alum, but 2 as a trustee to make their experience better. So it's like that's, it's a huge commitment. That's more, I could do that, off hours.
Yeah.
Just email, phone call, text messages, things like that. But it's just really being intentional about how you spend your time. Like I actually had to dial some things back a little bit because it's like you can't be all things to all people.
Yeah.
And there were times where I would get burned out.
For sure.
As much as I enjoy like interacting with people and contributing to worthy causes, it's like my battery was empty.
Yeah.
And it's like there was nothing left I had to give. And at that point, I'm not being additive. At that point, and
Just
if
taking
I'm,
up space.
Yeah, and I don't want to, like, there's a way to take up space, but that's not the way I want to take up that space. Like I want to be able to whatever I'm involved in, whatever that entity is, I want to give them all of me. Right? I want to give them whatever I got. I want to give them 100% of that. Because every day isn't going to be, you're not going to be at 100% every day, right? So if I'm 75%, whatever that is, I want to give 100% of whatever I have for that day. So it's really, I like to give. So it's like, if I'm not intentional, the next thing you know, my whole week is doing something for other people. And I don't mind that, but then I still have to carve out pockets for me at the end of the day.
And so to recap what you said, is that necessary to get into the insurance space, there isn't any criteria that is necessary.
Not necessary.
Outside of well, it'll be helpful to have a degree.
Yeah.
And to get your license. But then outside of that, there's nothing really that's needed.
Not
Just
really.
go in,
You
apply.
Yep.
Make sure you have some questions prepared. I think you're about to say something.
No, I was going to say, I think it's just, it's a want to, right? And it's not necessarily insurance based, right? It's like whatever you decide that you want to do, show up.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of companies will have their own requirements as to, like, once you get in, okay, these are our expectations, right? And that could vary from company to company. But as far as getting in, like, there's no real criteria at this point. Like, there's no specific major that you need to have. It's like, get your degree. In some cases you don't need it, right? Depending on the certain roles, but certain roles require certain degrees, or certain roles that require a degree, and to even be considered at this point.
Okay.
Because there's so many people, like, there's so many people that are competing for these roles. Like, we open up a training class, like, okay, we're gonna take 5 college graduates, and we'll get like 300 applications.
So it's a big pool.
So it's a big pool, and we're just one company. There's so many different large global entities within the insurance space that are doing the exact same thing. So, like with anything, what are you gonna do to stand out?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What things are you gonna have on your resume that's gonna make me want to look at you at the end of the day?
Yeah, so I want to get into what some of those things are, because I know we talked about college and then license, but I want to get into what some of those things are. But before I lose this thought, what can people expect as far as the hours to work? So you've been making your way up the hierarchy. What did that? I know you told me what your hours now.
Yep.
But what are some of the earlier hours? What were you doing back then?
Oh, it varies depending on like your book of business.
Okay. What does that mean?
I remember, like, basically the way our underwriters are assigned business, right?
Okay.
They handle, we call it their book of business, but it's specific brokers that they're assigned to. So they may have like 20 brokers that are sending them business, right? That underwriter is responsible for all of them. There's their business, underwriting it, contacting the brokers and things like that. At the higher up you go, the bigger your book of business become. More brokers that you're working with, more premium that you're dealing with, more accounts that you're dealing with. So, I remember a time when I got to AIG, when I first became a senior underwriter, I was probably putting in somewhere between 40 to 50 hours a week.
Okay,
just
so
on a regular standard, right?
Yeah.
Because like once you're on salary, it's like, you do what you need. You work as long as you need to get the job done, right? But then there's some stretches when I had a couple projects that I was leading, and those weeks were more like 55 to 60 hours. It was log on at 6, work until 6, log off, work out, eat dinner, log back on at 8, work until 10, do it all over again.
Okay.
And those weren't long stretches. Those were like maybe 3 to 5 weeks, something like that. But that's an example of what can happen depending on what you have going on, because as you learn your book of business, you'll know when the busy season is. Because in the commercial insurance world, January 1st and July 1st, those are big renewal dates. So usually 60 days before that, those are your busy seasons. In our space, there is none. It just, I have our largest accounts renew in November, February, July. I think I have one in September. So it could be any time. So it's just
so whenever you acquire that client for you specifically,
it's whenever it's required. That's how much time you'll spend. I have people in a way I understand why people love working from home. I love the office environment.
I do
actually. Well. I like to hear the buzz of the office. I like to hear people interacting with each other and learning from each other. But there's so many people that the 2 hours round trip commute that they'll make, they're working. I get emails from my staff anywhere from 7 in the morning until 10 at night. So people are dedicated to putting the work in. So it's I'm afraid to ask some of my people, if you really just count your hours, how many would you have? And I'm afraid of what I might get, because they're putting in 50, 60 hours.
Yeah.
I try to tell maybe once a quarter, I'll send them, I do a weekly email. Basically talk about the things to expect for the week, some recap things, but then I always leave with a quote, just something to motivate, inspire, make people laugh. Probably once a quarter, I put up a note. There's a meme of a person that's screaming, but it says, use your PTO. I'm encouraging folks to use your PTO, because you will burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And it's don't wait until the battery's almost empty. If you're halfway, just take a day.
Yeah.
Right. It's people freak out about okay, I'm missing a day and I'm going to get all these emails. It's like, okay, that's fine. You just deal with it when you get back.
Yeah, they'll still be there.
Right. It'll still be there. So just, I want you to breathe and kind of have a life outside of this work thing.
Yeah. So don't need any special qualifications. Don't need schooling. Don't need certification. Work day kind of varies depending on what you're doing.
Yep.
But then also the level at which you're at.
Correct.
Is there any other need to knows before getting into this space? Before we get into the what makes you stand out?
Yeah, there's no other need to knows to get into the space.
Okay.
It's just, it's like with any job. It's, just prepare yourself as best you can for any interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just prepare yourself as best you can. Try to get an understanding, not only if this is, something that you want to do, but is it a good fit, right? Because people may get, you may look at the salary and, everything looks great, but then you don't really think about what comes with that and the things that you have to do. Is that something that you're willing to do?
Yeah.
And that's with any type of job that you look to get.
Yeah.
Like all money ain't good money.
Yes, that is a quote. We need to frame that up. If we can get into now, real quick before we wrap up,
No worries.
Can you get into what will make you stand out on your resume? What is something that you right now, if you were looking at somebody was trying to become an underwriter specifically, and they were coming to your organization, they were interviewing with you, what is something that's going to jump off the page to you?
Internships, right? Have you taken that initiative to have an internship, just to learn different, learn what it's like in the working world, right? Because I think that's what a lot of young people don't get the opportunity to do. Have you had an internship in a corporate environment? I'm biased towards athletes in a way, mainly because of time management, right? You have a set amount of time to do everything, right? When you're an athlete. So how have you managed your time? Have you been involved in any type of extracurricular activities, any clubs, clubs, fraternities, any type of organization at the school that you went to? Have you assumed any leadership positions? I look for all of that, and then just the conversation, right? It's like I try to, while I'm talking to you, I try to think about my team. It's like, okay, how would you fit in? How would you, how would we integrate you into our group? Like, my team has an average, we did this a couple weeks ago, about 15 years of experience. So we have some vets that are on my team. Will you be somebody that they welcome in, right? Are you curious enough? Do you have the, can I glean whether or not you have a strong work ethic, right? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be coached? Are you willing to listen, right? So it's, while what you see on the paper is one thing, like, that could get you in the door, but how do you present yourself when we have that conversation?
Yeah.
That, those are they're basically, they're two in the same. I won't say one in the same. It's two parallel tracks, right? It's like, have you done all the things from an educational standpoint, right? Have you shown initiative? Like I get, in a way, it's like I talk about bias towards athletes. It's like if you don't have the internships, but you're an athlete, I get it, because you don't necessarily have the time to do it, right? But it's like, how did you use your time when you were there? Because it's going to be, when you really get into this and you really understand the process of the craft, it's going to be time consuming, and it should be. And are you willing to put in that work, right? Because it's everybody could say that they want it, but then when it really gets hard and you really got to put in that extra time, like some folks aren't willing to do it. And then you get the phone calls, and then you see the reports, and you're late on getting policies out, and you're late on renewing business, and it's poor performance. It's like, I'm not necessarily trying to see that.
For
right?
Sure, especially under you. Yeah.
Right. No, it's like, I give you a little bit of grace. Everybody has their season, right? I have no problem with that. But when the end client and the brokers are constantly calling and saying, hey, such and such won't return my phone call, they're late on renewals and things like that. Yeah, I'm cool until I'm not at that point. It's right. It's like, I don't micromanage. Like I give people the freedom to do their thing, but if I have to, I will. And you won't like that. Like, that's not fun. if to have somebody like constantly over your shoulder.
Yeah,
so
nobody likes that.
yeah, the
Micromanage.
Yeah, nobody likes the micro. So yeah, it's like it's really about how you spent your time. Obviously, you got your degree. For the most part, young people that are coming in, I see your GPA. I know how intelligent you are. What did you do in your time? What did you do in your spare time? Because we've been to college. We know how that there can be plenty of free time. What did you do with that time?
Yes. And so as we continue to work to the closing, I want to use that as an opportunity to look into the exit strategy. So, what does retirement look like from this? But then also, AI is becoming a booming field. Do you worry about AI taking your job?
Not at my level, and not within our space.
Okay.
AI is going to be a tool, I believe. Like we're going to be able to get in from, like we talk about, doing the Google search on a person.
Yep.
We were like, a lot of times we put in a person name and we put in certain trigger words to see if those are matches. Now we could just ask the question to whatever ChatGPT, and they could just give us a blurb right away.
Yep.
Actually, that from that aspect, it's going to make us more efficient as far as that part goes.
Yeah.
We could spend more time doing other things, like, okay, let's look at the risk itself instead of looking at the actual person, right? And there's a lot of things that AI can give us that can help us really craft a proper program for our client. It's something to be aware of, I believe, in, especially in the high net worth space, because we're dealing with so many customizable and personalized programs. It's not like an auto policy where literally a computer can do that for the most part.
Yeah,
we're looking at a holistic type view of a client, and it's not necessarily cookie cutter. So I see AI as a tool, but not necessarily something that
a replacement.
It's not
at this point.
At this point, right? But things are moving so fast that
Very fast.
you never know. So it's like I was a skeptic of AI. I won't say skeptic. That's a wrong term. And anti is probably too strong, but it's one of those things like I'm trying not to indulge in AI. But that's very naive of me to really think that way.
I'm in that same ship because I was kind of like, I don't know about this, but then I also was thinking like, all right, this is a great tool and people are advancing pretty quickly with it. Like, am I foolish not to partake?
It's here at this point. It's not a matter of it's coming. It's here, and I don't want to be like the generation above us that's so averse to new technologies. Exactly.
Evolution,
and it's like I need to get comfortable with it, and that's one of the things I want to I have some other like certifications and things I'm working on, but within that I want to get more comfortable and familiar with the different types of AI that's out there, so that I understand it a little bit better. Again, I love to learn, right? So if it's something new that first off, it's something new I can learn, that's always a good thing. But how can I learn about it and then apply it to the day-to-day that we do on a daily basis to make sure that I'm on top of the cutting edge technology, and two, how can I help my people?
For sure, help you all be more efficient.
Exactly.
As well.
How do I help them be their best selves with this technology? So I'm not afraid of it. It's like I'm not afraid of it. Skeptical is too strong. It's just I'm approaching it cautiously.
Yeah. That's a good term.
I'm dipping my toes in the water now.
And so we talk about retirement. Is there retirement available? Like, how's that work?
Absolutely. We have 401ks.
Okay.
Like most companies. I have a couple of vessels that are outside of my work that I'm utilizing at this point. So I'm assuming it's going to be a long ways away. Like I still have the energy and the drive to continue to do what I'm doing, and more importantly, just how do I help the young people come up at this point? That's what's giving me the energy to keep going at this point. And plus the industry has changed more in the last 5 years than it did in the prior 20, which is kind of amazing.
In what way?
Obviously, we deal with weather, so climate change is different.
Okay.
The way that we looked at California and Florida in 2002 is totally different than we do now, right? Where we were ultra aggressive in both of those states. And now with the increased volatility, it's harder to predict.
Yeah.
Right. It's one, the size, but two, the overall impact that we have. It's harder to predict that. So it's just a changing landscape from a climate standpoint. And then there's so many new entrants, right? Like we talked about the use of AI. There's so many what we call insure techs. Basically, they're insurance companies that are based off of AI technology, where a lot of the underwrite is AI based. There's still humans behind it that pretty much make the final decision, but there's so many different players that could come in and out of the space, which is still, that makes it fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just learning more about who's coming down, what's coming down the pike within the industry. That's what keeping me going. So retirement, I it's a hope, right? Lord willing, I can get there.
Yeah.
But that's not, I don't look to, I'm not seeing it as imminent, right? It's like I'm never the one that's like, people want to retire early. I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's like I'll still keep working away. I don't use the term grind. Like grind does damage. It's like I work, right? I'm not grinding. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm gonna do it as long as I can.
Yeah. Okay. That's a beautiful thing. And it's always good to when you enjoy it as well. Because I think you brought up a really good term, grinding. I feel like we use that term, and sometimes we can use it as just words, but I feel like people truly are grinding. They're breaking themselves down mentally, emotionally, and physically. We talk about the trades. So some trades out there are really hard on the body.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like one, I heard it from a song, well-oiled machines don't grind. Like they just go.
Yeah.
And also like, especially with what I do, like my dad drove trucks for most of his career. I know the toll that physically put on his body. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It would be disrespectful for me to use the term grind when there's people out here doing real physical labor.
Yes.
And I will never confuse what I'm doing. It's a different type of work. I'm not like, at the end of the day, my body feels good, but I'm mentally exhaused, right?
Yeah.
But that's not grinding.
Yeah, it's not the same
That's
thing.
not grinding. I worked for 9 hours. That was it.
Yeah. Mugs really like. I was watching a video yesterday about a boil maker, and man, they jumping into little small entrances. They breaking apart big old pipes. And it's nuts what people that are vital to our lives and what they physically have to do.
That part.
So I think I've never thought about it this way until you just said it, but that grind, we really got to be careful of the language that we use.
I do. It's like, in a way, it's like knowing that I spend all my time in an office, right?
Nice
like,
air conditioned,
like climate controlled. Like it's truly like, and I know I'm friends with folks, family, like they did that work, and like my work isn't their work. Yeah. And that's disrespectful to them to say that, man, I'm just out here grinding. No, you're not. Like you typing on a computer. Like you sitting in a warm or cool office, just doing what you do. You talk on the phone every now and then. It's like I take maybe 10 phone calls a day. I'm on the phone probably an hour out of the day. Yeah. It's not that big of a deal. It is not that hard compared to what some, our true essential workers are doing.
For sure.
I'm not on my feet.
Yeah, too cold in here. Put space heater on.
I mean, my Apple Watch tells me like, look, get up. You got to go stand up for a little while. Like that's not. It's not that. That's not that physical work that other folks are doing, and I respect that, and I would never downplay that work that they do.
I'm glad you have that mindset too. I hope a lot of others adopt that as well. Just giving credit's due. Yes, we do tough work, but there are a lot of people out there doing a lot of hard work, and they are essential to our lives and to our economy. I want to give you a moment now just to give, if you want to speak directly to people, you can look at that camera, give direct advice to somebody that's entering this space on how they can be successful.
Okay, I think the best advice that I can give is just, once you get into this space, is one, be curious. Like ask a ton of questions, especially in my space, in my craft of underwriting. It's really just analyzing risk, asking all the questions that you need to ask until you're comfortable with the risk, and then find your way to present it in the best way so that you can position yourself in the best light to win the business. Work ethic is huge. Look for opportunities to shine. I think one of my mentors told me years ago, just find things that your boss hates to do, and do that for your boss. That's going to be a way to distinguish yourself as you climb the ladder. But it comes down to being curious, and it comes down to your work ethic. That somebody said the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. So make sure that in order to be successful, you got to do that work, and
I like that.
Be patient and be humble as you navigate your journey. I've been in this space for 28 years, and it's been one of the joys. Even with the challenges that we have, it's been one of the joys of my life. So insurance it's a vital industry to the economy and to the world, and I feel that we're on par with any other type of financial services, and we're actually doing I think we're doing a good for people. We're helping folks provide coverage for the things that they work hard to build. So that's my pitch for insurance. I think it's an industry that you would love to get into.
And it sounds like you're in this for the long haul. As you said, this is not something that's beating you down necessarily.
Mm-mm.
So it's something that you can continue doing, and
Absolutely.
just till you feel like, you know what, I'm
Yep.
done. So is there any next steps outside of just continue on? Is there any? I know you said it's still a pathway that you see.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What is that next thing you're trying to conquer?
Well, I think that the next thing I'm conquering, like there's a certification that I'm working on. That's something that's within our high net worth space, that basically says that you can be a risk advisor for these high net worth clients. So it's basically getting a holistic education about all the aspects of private risk management is what we call it.
Okay.
So I'm working on that, but it's more for me, the organizations that I'm a part of. One of them is Private Risk Management Association, to where it's all these companies that work in this ecosphere of high net worth clients. We all come together and we do things that for the good of the industry. So continue to provide my visibility, provide my voice, to help introduce people to this segment of insurance.
Yeah.
And I'm also a part of the National African American Insurance Association, to where it's basically, African Americans that are in the insurance space. Again, we all come together and we find ways to not only succeed within the industry, but how can we be a conduit to get more Black and brown folks in this space. So I've been involved with both organizations for about 5 years now, and like those both are giving me energy to keep going. So like our the workplace is constantly changing. I'm in a good space right now. I'm not sure what the next is, but I haven't mastered this yet.
Okay.
So I don't want to think too far ahead until I feel like I have a better handle on what I'm doing now. There's so many different elements that I can improve on.
For sure.
And then I'm taking the steps to try to improve upon before I even think about the what's next as far as my company goes. But now it's how can I be more visible externally to help bring more young people into this space. Like that's my why at this point.
Okay. And I definitely feel that, like I said, the energy that you give to me and as you give to the youth in our mentoring program, it definitely radiates off you. Last thing.
Yes, sir.
What is the quote that you look to? What is the quote that keeps you going? What is something that internally you just can't turn off? What is that one quote for you that aids you in your growth and your continual propelling forward?
What's the one?
I know it's probably a lot. Cause you say send them out.
I have a lot. I have on my Instagram page, I have a folder full of quotes. Mm-hmm. So it could, there's no one that really.
Top three.
Oh gosh. I think everybody should have an affirming quote. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, it's not egotistical. It's just something that you tell yourself to help you, that help you go. go along. Like one, it's a part of a Snoop song. It's just one bar. He is I and I am him. Right? It's just sometimes you got to feel like, I mean, I'm an athlete. So if you're going to be an athlete, you're going to have some irrational confidence at times.
Yes.
So that's where that comes in. It's like, I know, like when I need to become that dude, like that's what I use to become that dude.
Okay.
For the most part. But there's not a one.
Okay.
Right? It's just like all the quotes that I feel like, I just try to live in a way that, that younger people can look to as like, that's somebody I want to be like. So it's not necessarily a quote. It's just, I see the young people that I'm around and how they view me. So I try to move in a way that they would be proud, so that they have somebody that they can look to, that it's not, it's not corny to try to, be educated. It's not corny to work the job that I work and try to be successful in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That it's just, it's, I never look for trouble. It's like when I was in class, I did the work that I needed to do. I was, athletic nerd is what somebody called me. I love playing sports, but I love being at the top of the class.
Yeah.
So it's like that drive was always there. Right. So it's like, there's no real quote. It's just try to be, it's just strive for excellence.
Try to live a righteous life.
Yeah. It's strive for excellence. Right. It's like, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Like I wanted to be perfect in everything, and that didn't serve me.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, if you keep trying for excellence, then you're going to be okay. Right. Because you'll never be perfect, but you can always try to be excellent.
For sure.
At everything you do, be excellent at it.
For sure.
So like I said, no quote, no one specific, like, it's just whatever hits me at the moment.
For sure. It was a fantastic interview. It was a lot of insight. It was so many different things. This interview probably could have went 5-6 hours because it's stuff that we didn't even touch on, like indemnity. And I wanted to touch on that because you put me onto that word. But this is a fantastic interview. How can we find you? How can we support you? What in your purpose, in your business? How can we help?
Well, you can find me. I'm on Instagram. I am D Hornsby. I'm on LinkedIn. Same name. Just Deon Hornsby. They can come to you. You have my information, so
yeah, for sure.
I don't shy away. I tell people, once you have my phone number, it's like a 24-hour hotline. You can call me whenever you need to, and I'll do my best to respond pretty quickly. But no, it's just continue to try to look out for each other. Try to help somebody. That'll help me. That makes me feel better.
Okay. And I could definitely see that. Once again, great interview. As we love to say here at Prosperity and Education, we only prosper and grow through education. Without that growth component, we stay stagnant. So make sure this week, this month, you're stepping outside your comfort zone and you're intentionally trying to grow. As always, make sure you spread the love. And we are out.
My man.
That was good.
That was fun.
It was. That was real nice.
Like if you get, it's hard to break down.
Yeah.
Like what we do in like a little bit.